What's up, sports fans? It is Wednesday, September 4th. We have an 8-game slate for tonight's MLB main slate. Before I get into the action, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you get alerts on when I drop new content. If you do enjoy the content, drop a like on the video. That's always appreciated. Definitely helps me out on my side. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DFS Picks. If you do want the full lineups, it's only $10 a week or $30 a month. It's been really rolling second half of MLB since the All-Star game. So if you do want that, shoot me a message on social media or leave a comment down below. But let's get into the slate tonight. Let's take a look at the pitching pool. Two guys over 10K, Bieber and Bumgarner. And Bieber is really where I'm going to start my lineups tonight. Starting at 11-5, he's in a great matchup against the White Sox. He's tailed off a little bit since he was hot towards the end of July or August, but he's still been really good. 20 plus in the last 3, 5, 6, 7 of the last 8. Really consistent. Will give you 6 to 8 innings. And anywhere from 7 to 12 strikeouts. And he's going up against a White Sox team that strikes out a lot. You just saw Clevenger tonight, or I guess last night, go 7 innings strong. I think he got 26 DK points. Ended up not getting the decision because the Cleveland bullpen just blew it. But and he had more in the tank, seemingly. Could have probably gone that 8th inning too, and just kind of still racked it up. And that's kind of one of the reasons that they lost. They didn't get him out there in the 8th, but Bieber, along the same lines, should really just mow him down in that matchup. So paying up for him is where I'm going to start, and then kind of go from there. Take a look at the rest of the pitching pool. Obviously, I'm going to go with Trevor Williams, but we'll kind of go down and take a look at the other guys in the player pool, at least from my perspective. Zach Gallen, I like him in a matchup against San Diego. Kelly just crushed. I think he had over 30 DK points, just shutting down San Diego in a win tonight. And Gallen, better pitcher, at 9,600. Appropriately priced. He's been appropriately priced for the last few games, and just in a really good matchup here. So definitely in play. Unfortunately, you can't really play Bieber and Gallen together, paying over 20K with a slate like this, a smaller slate, not as much value, not really a great spot to put them together. Would be an option if you wanted to pay down from Bieber to Gallen and make him your SP1. Just not where I'm going to go for this slate. So keep going down. Erod, Ryu, Barrios not in a good spot. Paddock, Sandoval, not really interested in them tonight. But Junis playing against Detroit. Saw Montgomery pitch really well for a pitcher of his stature against Detroit. And Detroit just has very little upside as far as scoring runs. They hit a lot of singles. When they do get hits, they strike out a good amount. So Junis in a good spot here against them. At 7,500, if he scores, 20, 21 points, which is definitely capable in this matchup. You see he scored 21 the last time he went out in Detroit. Now he's at home, so expect him to do pretty well. So he's definitely in play. But I would rather pay down to Trevor Williams going up against Miami. You saw Keller out there. I had Keller tonight, which kind of killed my lineups. After he went out, he pitched, I think, 2, maybe 1 2/3, and he picked up 4 Ks, had 9 1/4, something like that, DraftKings points. He was rolling on a really great start, but got knocked out of the game in the literal sense. And I see the same kind of thing happening with Trevor, not getting knocked out of the game, but having a really good start and kind of rolling over Miami. Miami does not hit well against righties. They have a lot of strikeouts in their lineup. They have a lot of righties in their lineup. So Trevor Williams paying down for him at 6,600. That is where I'm going to go tonight. We can kind of look down and see what else is out there. Waka definitely in the pool against San Francisco, playing at home. You can kind of take a look at his last few games. Not bad. Had a really good game against Cincinnati. If you need that extra few $100 to get up to another some bat that you like, that's definitely in play. But yeah, that's really all I see. Nova, Jackson, Senzatella. I wouldn't go there unless you're looking for a GPP punt play. So let's get Williams in the lineup and go on to the bats. Let me preface this with saying that the three stacks that I'm looking at, 3 or 4 stacks that I'm looking at, are going to be Cleveland and I'm sorry, not Cleveland, KC and LA ahead of everyone else, and then Cleveland and Minnesota as well, kind of on the back burner. So you kind of see 2 guys from each team on here, and I'll go with KC first. They're heading up against Edwin Jackson. Jackson, I just not a good pitcher. He's pitched better in his stint with the Tigers, but if you look at who he's been playing, he pitched against Kansas City and Seattle for his 2 best games of the year, pretty much, and then everything else, Houston, Minnesota, pretty much how he's been pitching for the 2019, 2018. That's how he's been, the quality of pitching that he's been dishing out. So I think that's more of who he is, especially the last matchup against Minnesota. I think we get more of that going forward. I don't know how much longer he'll be a starter, given the way that he has been pitching the last couple of years. But in this matchup against KC, you can get some reasonably priced bats in really good matchups. Now KC doesn't really hit that well. I'm not going to do a big stack on them, but getting these 2 guys, getting Soler and Dozier in there, is really what I'm banking on, and getting some value out of those 4K hitters. So that's what I'm looking at right there, and I'll give you some numbers on Soler. Let's get those pulled up. So Soler with a 300 ISO versus right-handed hitters. Dozier 251, and they both have in the high 300s in WOBA. Do strike out a decent amount, but do have a lot of power on there, and Jackson does give up a good amount of homers to both sides of the plate. So I'm going Soler and Dozier from KC, and there are a lot of options going up in LA. The only issue is they're really priced up. I mean, you have Peterson at 5.3, Bellinger at 5.6. I would love to go Bellinger here, but there's not the value on the slate to both pay up for Bieber, and that's kind of and other value, and Bieber is kind of my priority in this slate. So, well, I'd love to. Bellinger's probably my number one. Either Bellinger or Trout on this slate are going to be my number one guys to pay up for, but there's just not enough cap space to go around, at least right now. So on this for LA, I'm looking at Seager. He's going to be is projected to bat second behind Peterson if he's in. But you see on Monday, had a home run, 25 fantasy points, had a run a single this evening for 5. LA didn't play well against Chichi tonight. I think that's kind of more of an aberration than anything else. The weather's going to be warmer. It's going to be more humid in LA tonight, so I expect a better output. There's the implied run total for them is 6.3. I think that's second highest on the slate. So Seager at 4,300 is where I would start out batting second, and then Gavin Lux was leading off tonight. If he is leading off, that's he didn't have a great night tonight. Did have a homer in his first game up in the bigs on Monday. But if he is leading off, that's just a stone cold lock. I think he's a really good hitter, and he's going to find his stride. But he is projected to bat 8th. I think he's still playable, especially at 3-7 with that lefty-righty matchup. Even if he does play eighth, but his value just goes up if he's leading off again. But that's going to depend on if Peterson's in the lineup or not. So we'll see when final lineups come out later on this afternoon. But even with that, so we'll put Williams back in there, 6,600. Still have 3,650 to spread out around the 4 remaining spots, which should give you enough to fill out a pretty solid lineup. So that's what I have for right now. I'll post some updates when I get them during the day. So follow me, like I said, on Instagram or Twitter at the DFS Picks. If you want the full lineups, shoot me a message, drop a comment below. It's only $10 a week or $30 a month, and build that bankroll for NFL coming up. All right, thanks guys. Good luck tonight.